This video is going to be a reaction video to a very viral, very popular video called "Is Being Fat a Choice? Fit Men versus Fat Men." Now, why am I making a reaction video? So, if you don't know who I am, my name's Adam, aka Puffy. The reason I was called Puffy was because I used to be really, really fat. I used to be, this is me, like probably 360, 370 was about the biggest weight I was. And I hated the way, obviously, like my life, I couldn't see my own dick in the mirror. That's not an exaggeration. You could see, like, I mean, that's a pretty fake smile. Anyways, so I lost over 150 pounds. I'm also now like a weight loss coach. And this video is kind of a perspective that neither party had on this video, which is not to toot my own horn. I will get to it in a sec. I would like to think I'm kind of fit now or in pretty good shape. And I lost a lot of weight. And I used to think a lot of similarities to some of the people in this video. Now, as the time I recorded this video, I have a video coming out probably that will drop after this about my whole story. But I lost 150 pounds. I also went through surgery for the skin, like dead skin removal. And so if we fast forward, this is some of the best shape that I've gotten into. So I'm not like, you know, some guy who just lost a bunch of weight. I coach a bunch of people. I lost a bunch of weight. I got really in great, in my opinion, phenomenal fucking shape. This is like a 4-year difference or 5-year difference. And this was me recently after the surgery. So I'm not necessarily at peak yet, but this was taken about a week ago. And just to show that I am not just some generic Joe Schmo, these are some of my best clients before and after. So we have Kim, she lost over 100 pounds. We have Daniel, lost over 100 pounds. He looks even better than this. He sent me a picture the other day of him like shredded with abs. Mike lost over 100 pounds. Sammy lost over 100 pounds. Colin lost over 100 pounds. Rogie lost over 80 pounds. And I say this all to say, I have the perspective a lot of people don't. Right? I mean, there's a very famous guy on here called Craig Doucette, and he doesn't know what it is like to be fat. Right? He's been fit his entire life. The only time he was fat was because he was taking a bunch of gear for a powerlifting competition. No shame. Like, I think he got a world record in that. But anyways, I know people have the attention span of a squirrel. So even if you made it this far in the video and you're not going to watch me react to like an hour worth of this YouTube video, I would highly encourage you. I have a school community. It's 100% free. It's called Fit for Life by Puffy. Basically, I've created it for people on their weight loss journey. There's absolutely zero strings attached. It'll be the first or second link in the description below. Basically, it's to help people like you, like formerly me, on their weight loss journey. It has a bunch of free resources. So this is just a snippet. It has going over nutrition fundamentals, cardio, exercise, videos about me cooking. I went to culinary school as well, sleep, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so now let's get into the video. Okay, so just a preface warning, Myron is, I feel like he has great points, but I also feel like the sole purpose of him being on this video was to make viral content. And I mean, look, when you're on a YouTube video and you're literally wearing your podcast, I haven't listened to it, but I give credit where credit's due. Yes, like, you're getting a lot of eyeballs on this, so he wanted to make the most of it. But like, a lot of his opinions and what he tried to do is like just completely blown. Like, just say the most random shit ever to try to get a viral clip. So take that with a pinch of salt. Now, for me, my 2 cents on have I ever felt disgusted looking at a fat body? Yes, myself. That's number one. When I look back at photos, it's like it disgusts me and how I took myself to that far of a level. And also, I guess later on in life, having both perspectives, do I feel like nauseous? No. But when I look at someone like Lizzo, it makes me absolutely disgusted to see someone like that. Because like, that's not what it should be. Your body shouldn't look like that. It is not okay to be like that. It's not healthy. It is somewhat disgusting to look at. Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents on this.
Okay. That's a great start. I mean, I know why you say that, but it's one of those things where, do you know why you're saying that?
Yes, because I've been fat before and I lost the weight.
No, he wasn't
me
fat.
Too. I've been fat my whole life. I've been way skinnier than I am now, and I've been way heavier than I am now. Was I less valuable at one point in there?
Well, I mean, you can make an argument that you're less valuable when you're fatter because you drain resources, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I mean, in general, being fat is unacceptable because you control every single morsel of food that goes into your mouth.
Okay.
It shows a lack of discipline, it shows a lack of character, it shows a lack of temperance, and when you're fat, it's an outward manifestation of your inadequacies.
I mean, to a certain extent, he's not wrong, but like, again, he's just going to the complete spectrum. I think there's a difference between morbidly obese and then being somewhat heavy. The guy with the beard, I forget his name, he's not someone that I would feel like disgusted looking at his body. He's not morbidly obese. There's a giant difference between him and Lizzo, right? But he's also his point where it's like, there's a saying, I think it was by like RuPaul, but granted, I'm kind of taking it out of context. If you can't love your body, how are you going to love someone else? Now, if you can't love your body and loving your body and being 400 pounds, it's not really the same thing. Like if you're portraying yourself, where you're this like very large individual, how are people supposed to take you seriously, right? If you can't take yourself seriously, if you're not taking control and your health seriously, I don't know about that, right?
When I see somebody who's 500 or 600 pounds, all I can think of is, why do they care so little about their health that they can do this, allow themselves to gain that much weight, knowing it's taken 20, 30, 40 years off their life? I just can't imagine not wanting to live that badly.
I understand that. No, it's
well, for me, like on that point where Greg's saying, and Greg's like he has his own YouTube channel. He's got like 3 million subs. I basically, when I was so big, like I literally wanted to eat myself to death. So he's not that far off, but he's also doesn't have the perspective of how it is like coming from me, like where I was literally choosing, instead of, you know, hanging myself or jumping off a bridge, I chose to basically eat myself to death.
Definitely felt disgusted looking at my own body and looking at other fat bodies in my life. A lot of the disgust I felt looking at people was me feeling disgusted with myself, and then projecting that feeling onto other people. And I don't think anyone on either side will disagree that health is important. I know that my own mental health was way worse when I was spending every fixate of my life trying to get smaller, trying to be thinner.
I don't think there's anyone that can look at somebody 500, 600, 700 pounds and not think, wow, what have they done? And not be disgusted. Like, how can you not? I just can't understand.
You can't assume that everyone has the same opinion, though, because unfortunately, some people have emotional stuff that happened, traumatic stuff that's happened, so you can't just...
No, but they're going from two different perspectives. If we're talking about, like, Rich, if he took a shirt off, I wouldn't be appalled. Like, okay, great, he's overweight, he's obese, right? But if we're talking about someone who's 500 or 600 pounds, it's, in my opinion, quite disgusting to look at. And I'm sorry if this is, like, triggering to you. If you're 600, 500 pounds watching this, fix it, man. Like, and I know, again, like, it's so easy for me to say that, but I'm in the same position, or was in the same position as you were. And it just starts with some small gradual changes. Like, if you are 500, 600 pounds, 400 pounds, it took a decade plus to get to that point. And it just starts with, like, literally start moving. Again, easy to say, another thing to do it. But if you're sitting there on the couch right now, you could be watching this given video and listening to it, or watching it, taking a walk. It just starts with a 5-minute walk, a 2-minute walk, and then a 4-minute walk, and then a 6-minute walk, then a 10-minute walk, over and over and over again. Small gradual changes go to larger, build large results.
It's counting to say, oh, because they're fat.
Boo-hoo, man. Like, there's way worse stuff going out in the world.
Absolutely.
People saying, oh my God, I'm sad, I'm going to eat some ice cream. It's like, no, dude, it's like, you're fat, you made that decision, you live in the best country ever. If you live in a civilized, first world country where you have electricity, internet power, etc., you deserve to be bullied. It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous,
We have
man.
all these fat people running around, meanwhile people are being bombed in Gaza. It's ridiculous. We are so privileged here in the United States and in the West in general. When I see a fat person, I'm like, wow. You got the gift of life. You got the gift of being in a developed country, and you're a fat POS talking about body positivity on TikTok. What the hell is going on?
But now you're
here?
segmenting.
Yeah,
because not everyone thinks like that.
Yeah.
No, we need to bring shaming back.
Okay.
We need to bring shaming back in so many other regards besides obesity. We need to do it with sluts. We need to shame fat people. We need to shame everybody when they fuck up. Because shame has been one of the strongest defenses against degeneracy and
Yes and no.
You had a personal experience you wanted to share. You said you used to be overweight. Now you're
Oh
not.
yeah, so I did an experiment back in like 2015 where I like bulked for like almost 2 years, and I got up to like 250 pounds, and then I dieted down. It took me about 7 months. I systematically did it, control my calories, tracked my macros, tracked my protein, carbs, fats, and systematically lost 1 to 2 pounds per week.
So you chose to gain.
Yeah, he literally went out of his way to bulk, and he did it like a like I mean, he's probably 160 at best in this video, maybe 170. So you're telling me you chose to go out of your way to gorge yourself and put yourself in a caloric surplus of God only probably double your maintenance, and then you reduce it. That's not difficult, mate. But taking a decade or 2 or 3, like I know there's 40, 50-year-olds that are going to watch this that are 400 pounds. It's not that easy to then just be like, okay, now, let's just fucking undo everything in 7 months, man. No, it doesn't work like that.
Up to 250.
Yeah,
you were
so
naturally
I've been on all
skinny
spectrums.
before,
Like I'm naturally skinny.
There we go.
I'm going to get fat as an experiment.
Yeah.
Did it, and then I was like, all right, now I'm going to lose the weight.
So then you don't have that
All I did was
perspective.
Track my calories, I ate the same food every single day.
Yeah.
Went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, and everything was controlled, and it got done. Was it monotonous? Of course. Was it
No,
boring?
yeah,
Of
I
course.
agree with you there. I am naturally this way. This is with working out 4 or 5 times
That's
a week.
not true.
This is
No,
100%
you
true.
can't.
That is 100% true.
No.
There are now. Look, again, I forget his name. Okay, but can this guy, the very attractive looking bearded man, lose 20 pounds and look like even more attractive, definitely. But there are some people that genuinely have a higher like body disposition. They're just like more, they're, what's the word? They're more likely to be at a higher fat, right? That's why I'm okay with calling myself puffy. Am I fat anymore? No. When I used to be really heavy, people used to call me puffy instead of fat. I hated people calling me fat. It was my trigger word. I punched in the face. It's like, yes, I'm aware. You don't need to make it like, it's like telling an alcoholic they're an alcoholic, right? But anyways.
It's not natural at all, because at the end of the day, if you don't lose weight, by definition, you're not in a calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're going to either maintain or gain weight. And that's the problem, is that people don't track their calories.
And that's true. But people burn at their resting metabolic rate a different set of calories.
Doesn't matter.
Let's not get too granular right now. Ragini, it's going to be one of those episodes, right? Let's bring in the disagreeers and hear from them.
Okay, so the reason I disagreed, especially when I heard the statement, I don't think I'll ever look at somebody based on their situation and think that I'm disgusted. Like, if I see somebody that's a drug addict on the street that's homeless, I'm not disgusted by that. If I see somebody that's incredibly overweight, I'm not disgusted by that. Do I think that there's an opportunity for growth? Do I think they've been put in a disadvantageous position that's probably makes it harder for them? Absolutely. I think I'm kind of an empath, so when I see somebody, I know that there's things underlying, and one of my best friends is 400 plus pounds. I've helped him lose 150, 200 pounds. He's gained it back. And I don't look at him and say, I'm disgusted, but I know how bad he wants it. And just seeing how hard he tries and then reverts, it's almost more tough for me than to be like, oh, that's disgusting, you know? And I think there's plenty of people that look at me and say, that's disgusting. I never want to look like that. Yep. So like, I know what it feels like on the other side to like look the way I do and get people look at me like, ugh, that's gross to like have that muscle. And then to go back to that point, like you came from a fit place and like deciding to bulk, like that's a conscientious decision to gain weight. Like you already have those habit routines and skills in order to stay in shape, and then you use those same skills you had to pull back on the calories and knowledge you had.
The reason why I use that example is that you can get fat and lose the weight if you know what you're doing and you have the knowledge and everything else like that. It's just about consistency over time.
Yeah, but most people don't have the knowledge or know what to do, and it's not just a matter of consistency and time.
So it's like, I look at it like...
let me cut you off, because here's one thing that you just said.
Yeah.
You had the tools. So there's people that don't have the tools that you've passed judgment on, and you have failed to realize that with the tools, people are very much capable of achieving amazing things. But
okay, let's talk about that.
No, hold on, I'm not done.
Well, you cut me off.
I'm not done. And I stood over there and I listened to you, and I was like, it's on a bullshit too. Oh, sure. But we're gonna address this, right? Yeah. You are passing judgment on people who lack the tools to do what it is that they need to do to get themselves to a certain point of health. There are multitudes of factors that weighs into what goes on with somebody's body. There are people that even if they work out, losing the weight does not come as simple as just going to the gym, cutting calories, watching everything.
Okay, that's fundamentally false. That's fundamentally false. Working out is a proponent of it, but he hit the nail on the head when it said to cutting calories. If a man of his size worked out even twice a week, I don't even care about strength training. If he went for a walk 30 minutes a day, 7 times in a week, or even to start with 2, and then he cut his calories back by 500, he would lose 2 or 3 pounds a week. So that is 100% false.
Everything that you eat. There are some people that have a disposition. I have a disposition.
He can have a higher metabolism or a slower metabolism, or say that he's big boned. But if he literally just ate slightly less food than what he consumes and moves more, he would lose weight. So it's not a matter of not knowing what to do or having the tools. There's a lot more specifics that go into it, but he is 100% factually wrong.
But does that mean that I'm not active? Does that mean that I'm not doing certain things? No, it doesn't. But you're passing judgment on somebody's body that you know nothing about. Now, on the flip side, what if I turned around and I did the same thing to you? You're talking about how fit and stuff that you are, but you're over there and you're smallest compared to these other guys.
That's a valid point.
So how does that feel if someone comes? No, because you said shame, right? You said shame, right?
Yeah.
So how does that feel if someone comes up and they start shaming you for size? Like, come on, it goes both ways.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Like it. Yes, I'm sure. Like he would probably if he could snap his fingers and have 20 pounds more muscle without having to take anabolics, he probably would. But there's a lot difference between basing a guy who's like fit and like should be normal, and I'm doing this because the subjective is normal, versus someone who is a very large individual like. I think his name's Tevin, or I'm going to call him Green Suit, right? He is well over 300 pounds. There is a giant difference. But that does not mean you see this guy walking down the street and be like, oh my God, that's disgusting, right? But a lot of people would. And a lot of people would make assumptions. And a lot of people would be like, wow, I can't believe that guy's let him go to this degree.
We're just in the first round. We got to be careful about targeting each other too directly.
I mean, I'm not offended. It's fine. He's emotional.
It goes in every direction.
He's obviously very triggered. But yeah, so let's hit the first part. Tools. What are the tools? The tools are simply knowledge, which you can get for free on the internet if you have the ability and the discipline.
To a certain extent. You can get majority of the tools on the internet. Shameless plug, like my YouTube channel. But there's still a lot of specifics that would help to have more of a customized approach per person, and that's why their coaching is an industry, right? Because it's a personalized approach, and then there's the accountability aspect. It's not just a simple matter of someone watching a video, which you could do to learn, like on my channel, to learn about what macros are and how to track it, etc.
And go out there and get the knowledge, then you're going to lose weight. It's just that simple. It's just that people want to always make excuses for why, oh, my feelings, oh, I don't know what, you don't know what people are going through, blah, blah, blah. No, you can watch your calories, you can go to the gym, you have time to do it. People just like to make excuses.
I don't think
he's making necessarily excuses, but there's that's why this show is literally called Middle Ground. There are completely opposite ends of the spectrum, and I know both perspectives firsthand.
Anyone's debating that weight loss is impossible here. I think the question is, why do you hate fat people, that you feel the disgust towards it?
Well, like I said before, it's a culmination of a bunch of bad decisions.
But is it any different than if you see somebody who's extremely anorexic, they're 50 pounds, you look at them, you're in shock.
That's
oh my God,
point.
like something happens in your body you can't control. You can't stop that. Like, how can you not? It's not, I don't hate them. It's just, wow, oh my God, it's like, it's disgusting. Like, holy goodness gracious.
Why
Stop.
would you use the word disgusting, right? So you just mentioned the polar opposite of what we are, right? But why would you look at them and be disgusted versus concerned? That is a very specific word, and it has very specific connotations behind it.
He's not wrong, but to me, I would be on the same level. Like, again, I forget his name, but Green Suit. Like, I'm not saying I would be disgusted by seeing him walking down the street. I'd actually be more likely to be disgusted with someone who's like super, super underweight, right? But there is, to me, it's both. It's both disgusting and concerning. But more so for me, the disgust comes from like when someone's 500 or 600 pounds.
And when it's used, it's somewhat weaponized as well.
I don't think we can help how we feel. I don't think I can choose like, oh, I just am not. It would be sitting here and lying. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm always going to be honest with people. I'm disgusted. This is just how I feel.
The thing is, when you see a fat person, the reason why it's disgusting and the reason why there's so much pushback on this whole body positivity and people make fun of Lizzo, rightfully so, by the way, is because it's unattractive, it's unhealthy. Until we had this woke era, they used to put like models and attractive people on the cover of magazines that were in shape. Why? So that people can aspire to look like that. And it's healthy and it looks better in general. You look good, feel good. But when you're fat, it says a lot about you. People are going to sit there and be like, let me see if he's a good person. No, they're just going to assume that you're lazy, which you are, by the way, when you're fat.
Not every fat person is lazy, but it depends on what spectrum we're talking about, right? There's a difference between being 250 pounds and 500 pounds. There's a giant difference. This guy's basing every single person who's overweight on the exact same category because this guy looks like a twig and is 160 pounds. Doesn't make any sense.
Discipline, which you are, by the way. So they're just going to assume off of what they see. That's the world they live in.
I love how you stated a ton of assumptions. You didn't state not one fact. You just stated assumptions.
I want to move on to the next prompt, but we're definitely...
Can I say one thing? Just one question. Yeah. Like, let's say you knew he used to be 600 pounds, and how much do you weigh now?
I'm 384.
And now he's 384. Do you see him as less disgusting knowing he's lost 220 pounds?
No, that's fantastic.
I think yes.
There's still work to be done. But here's the thing, like I said before, unfortunately, human beings judge a book by its cover. It's
yes.
the world that we live
Big
in.
time.
Fat people that identify as 97 genders, whatever. They expect us to change our worldview for them, and that's just not how the world works. Like it's been that way. It's always going to be that way.
That's right, I don't get.
It's just the word. Like people are gonna
Jacked men are more attractive than fat men.
See, people don't understand that women are aroused by one thing and they're attracted by another thing. Women are attracted to, a guy that's confident, ambitious, makes money, etc. Of course, right? But they're aroused by guys that have asshole tendencies, dark triad traits, etc., and guys that are physically in shape. So if you want to get the best of your woman, where she respects and admires you, while simultaneously being aroused by you, so she doesn't cheat on you, you need to have it all.
Okay, this guy watches way too much Andrew Tate, but there is definitely, no pun intended, a middle ground for this. You don't need to be like a rich, jacked guy necessarily, but fundamentally, I don't know how anybody can disagree with that more fit or more in shape people, maybe not to the extent of Eric. He's fucking huge. But just in general can be more attractive than overweight men. It would be the same thing if the genders were reversed, right? A majority of women or a majority of men, I can promise you, do not find women that are overweight or obese attractive. Right now, in terms of like giving oral and the velocity of that's again, this guy's just saying and spewing shit out of his ass to make viral content and be that's the best way I could put it. Like, I don't think this is what he's actually believing. I think he's just spewing shit out of his ass to go viral and get more eyeballs and clicks and engagement.
You're saying that's true for all women?
A staggering majority of women.
I am a big and tall model by trade. That's what I do. I model clothing brands. I've modeled with major fashion houses. I've been on the covers of magazines. You mentioned before dad bod comments and whatnot on social media. I was flabbergasted when I started how many people were commenting and DMing me and talking about how attractive I was. That it just kind of, I don't know, showed me that attraction is a lot more subjective than I thought, and people have a much wider...
You're a fucking model! Your face is super symmetrical. I am a straight man and I find this guy attractive. It is not valid as opinion on this.
range of what they find attractive.
He's also not super obese. If he was the same size as Green Suit and he was a male model, then I would maybe like understand his perspective a little bit more.
Than
but the Green Suit guy is not on any fucking magazine cover.
Typically a body type.
Is being jacked the most important trait for being attractive? I'd argue for guys, it'd probably be otherwise, right? I think height would be a very
money,
yeah.
height, fame, like what can you bring to the table?
The number one thing is status. By far, status.
People also go after what they think they can get. So if this guy is 6'5" and extremely attractive, and it's like, well, I can't get that guy. I'm attracted to the 10 on 10 supermodel, but I'm not going to get her, so I'll be happy with the 9.9 on 10.
Just to be clear, are we speaking about women being attracted to men?
It's not just about women. It's just about attraction. What is the most attractive, in your opinion, physique or a man?
Okay, I'm speaking from like what women find attractive. So when I speak, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm sexually fluid.
Oh, great, good for you.
My law of attraction does not adhere to.
Just add that to the never-ending list.
Pretty much, I'm attracted to people in general. So you could be jacked, you could be more plus size, you could be skinny, you could be whatever it is that you are. If I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you.
What are the traits you find most attractive?
I think the way that you carry yourself is a really big thing for me. I can't date someone who lacks confidence, because I feel like that seeps into other aspects of your life.
Do you mind if I jump in on the confidence thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, growing up, wasn't too confident in myself, and I gained that confidence when I started losing weight.
Oh, fucking fantastic!
I noticed it was me putting myself in positions to get more opportunities with women. Right now, I'm single right now, but I'm doing okay. But the confidence came from me losing weight. So, I do agree that it's a subjective kind of standpoint.
Definitely.
But socially, I understand that physically fit men, that's just like what everyone's like.
That's a stereotype, but majority of women do not find men that are 50 plus pounds heavy attractive, and it is the exact same. Gender is reversed, and if they say otherwise, majority of them are lying or they're overweight themselves. 1,000%.
I don't think it's as subjective as guys are trying to say. Attraction isn't a choice, and there are hardwired traits that women look for in men. And what I've come to realize is that what women put out there is what they find attractive or politically correct things. Oh, he has a dad bod. He's nice. He's a good guy. The reality is that women don't respond well and favorably to these men. There's a reason why nice guys finish last.
Man, this guy is like, I'm surprised if he didn't have an Andrew Tate tattoo.
Girls aren't aroused by that. Girls don't want to say what they're really aroused by. Guys that are able to stand up to them. Guys that are able to tell them, well, that was a stupid comment, or hold them accountable for their stupidity when they do dumb things. This is what women find attractive because these are leadership traits.
Have any of those things happened to you, though?
Well, I mean, I've talked to almost 3,000 women, and what I've come to realize from talking to all of them is that most of the time, you know, when they're in a comment section on TikTok, like, you're so handsome, blah, 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 will they actually go on a date and have sex with that guy? Probably not. But they say that because it's politically correct, and women tend to not want to be adversarial. They're going to say what sounds good, but what they're actually aroused by are two different things.
But they're married to those guys.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was getting to.
Well, then what's the divorce rate percentage?
And marriage is a failed institution in the West, and this is why most men get divorced by women. This is why they get destroyed in the divorce courts. This is why women overwhelmingly initiated the divorce rates in America. 80% are initiated.
I mean, this is kind of completely different topic.
We sit here and we lie and we believe what women say they're actually attracted to. No,
let's go back to attraction for a second, though, because I'm married.
Sure.
I have a child.
Cool.
I have a beautiful wife. I was this size the entire process through.
You're also a male model.
You're an average guy.
I would say that I'm bigger than average.
Yeah, you're not an average guy.
And a model
You're not an average guy.
for being.
He's not
I
average.
was a model when I started.
But
dating
you are
my
a very
wife.
good-looking,
I was a
tall, big guy
bartender
who's
doing
on
whatever.
magazine covers. So
But
out of the
I think-
million guys overweight, you're at
You're
the
not
top.
an average guy.
But I
what
think
I'm
what you're
saying-
missing is he just said that he wasn't any of those things.
He's not 5'6",
before
man,
he
like me.
met his
Try
wife.
being 5'6" and doing
No,
it.
I totally agree with you. Well, that's what I was gonna actually agree with Myron for a second. Believe it or not, we're talking about. You mentioned status, and then a lot of people other mentioned confidence. So you even put in your own pecking order ahead of being jacked or being physically attractive. Wouldn't you say that matters more? Confidence, how you carry yourself, how you do it?
I mean, the problem simply is it either you're jacked or
and I'm not
what's
gonna
more
argue the
attractive?
fact that our society definitely finds jacked guys more attractive, but I disagreed with the statement because it was a blanket statement that I have found untrue in my own life.
Do all of you feel like you'd be more or less attractive, let's say 50 pounds lighter than you are?
Without any of them answering the question, other than the jacked, what's this? I'm bad with names. The bearded model. Other than him, if any of them say no, they're lying.
Simply like just body fat.
I think so.
Thank you. Thank you. I like Rich. Rich is a real one. Rich has a good perspective because he lost weight, but then he gained it back.
Yeah.
Something that I struggled with for a while is, in me losing weight, am I still going to be able to book the jobs?
Oh my.
Because I've built an entire brand off of my body.
So build a new one. Or lose 100 pounds, you'd still be 100 pounds overweight.
I mean, granted, like, coolish, like, you know, I did something that's all my own. Like, I worked on that. But then I was also just like, if I lose this, are you still going to want me to, like, do this campaign for you? Are you still going to want me in your magazine? Are you still going to want to dress me? And then
Who gives bro? Because your health is worth more than that.
like take a step back and say like, well, what is it for me? Do I want to be skinny? No. Do I want to look like Greg? No. Do I want to look like Myron? No. But I know I want to look like me. I think
he didn't answer the
about
question.
The law of attraction, you focus so heavy about what women would find attractive and the perspective of the woman.
He's saying everything except for what Eric asked, which is if you drop 50 pounds, would you feel or would you think you're more attractive? He said everything. He just went in a giant circle. He didn't answer the question because if he didn't say anything but yes, he's lying.
I feel like, are you even attracted to yourself? When you look in that mirror, when you put your clothes on, are you like, damn, like I did that? Because when I got up this morning and I threw on my outfit, I was just like...
Notice how he said he threw on his outfit and then found attractive. Because again, look, I have both perspectives. I probably laid close to him, right? I didn't fucking find any attraction to myself or have any confidence in myself when I was standing there naked or with boxers on, right? There were certain times where I was wearing an outfit. I'm like, okay, I look okay. I mean, granted, I didn't have a really cool suit with a chain. Like, he does look fly as fuck, right? But it was happening after he put clothes on.
Yeah, I ate that.
Well, if you're going to talk about being attractive, etc., typically people are speaking from a romantic sense, from a heterosexual standpoint of men and women. So that's why I answered the question, because it was very broad. That's what I mean. But of course, you need to be able to look at the mirror and respect the man that you see looking back at you. When you look back and you see the guy and you're in shape, etc., and you feel good about yourself, look good, feel good. A byproduct of that is that women just tend to find you more attractive. It all works together in tandem.
Are you happy with the way you look?
Of course. But I had to work to build this physique, and it took many years. I was an athlete in college, with a Division I athlete.
Bro, I'm sorry to sound like an asshole. Okay, really. I'm not trying to like trigger this guy. He's not even going to watch this video. But he worked very hard for a very mediocre physique.
To be able to do this, so I'm able to. I rode in college.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I like rowing.
So I think when fat people look at the mirror and they say, oh, I like that, that's cope, man. No, you don't. They say that to try to bring themselves up. But the reality is, most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, I really let myself go. Not every. You're like, you know what? It's not that much of a priority. So fuck it.
Abe didn't get to answer the question going around.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as you, just because I feel like I don't agree with the blanket statement. Personally, for myself as a gay man, I find myself attractive. I would say like I go for guys like you as well.
But does he find? I would be very curious to know if he found himself attractive standing in front of the mirror with a shirt off, or how confident or how comfortable he is in a room with another male with a shirt off.
And I feel like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the status and their confidence. So, like you said, so.
All right, let's go to the next prompt. The body positivity movement is problematic. Ooh. Will the agreeers step forward?
Yeah, I definitely agree with this. This will be very fascinating. Oh, we have one guy, two guys.
I think where it becomes a problem is obviously you should be comfortable in your body, and if you genuinely love how you look, great, but you can't ignore your health. Being someone who's overweight.
I love this guy. Rich is my favorite guy.
I've been fortunate enough not to have any extreme complications other than like, knee pain and stuff like that. But I know people that, that are my size or bigger, and they have cholesterol problems, heart problems, diabetes. I have none of that. So the body positivity movement.
What about lower back pain, knee pain, hip pain, lack of being able to walk up a flight of stairs, lack of confidence, can't fit into clothes they want to wear? The list can continue. Shorter life expectancy.
It becomes a problem when you hide behind the shield of, oh, I should love my body, da-da-da-da. Great, but you have to be healthy too. You can't ignore your vitals.
Completely
you got to check yourself on the inside.
Yeah, I think the big thing is you have to separate the health implication with you just being confident, right? Like I'm all for people to feel confident in their own skin. I think body positivity movement has been beneficial for plus size people in that regard, right? Because let's say there's a plus size person who's too embarrassed to go to the gym because they feel like they're gonna be judged, whatever it is. But it's because of body positivity. They're like, oh, hey, like I see other plus size people in the gym. Maybe I'm gonna give it a try. And all of a sudden they start going. They're, oh man, I like this, right? And they keep it going. You can argue that without body positivity, maybe that day would have never happened for that person, right?
To a certain extent.
I think the problematic part really comes down to people extrapolating body positivity, shaming a celebrity like, let's say, Adele, for losing weight, right? That's where I would kind of draw the line there.
Okay.
Or promoting Lizzo.
Yep.
Making fun of Adele for losing weight, but promoting Lizzo for being a fat. It's unacceptable.
Do we feel, are a lot of people doing that?
Yes.
I think the thing around Lizzo is it's not just the weight, it's the lifestyle. You like see her drinking all the time and partying and not sleeping. There's like so little to do with health. It's not just she's promoting like loving yourself, which I think is great. She's promoting a lifestyle that is unhealthy, like being very overweight, drinking, not sleeping. All of these things are not conducive.
Also juice cleanses, and also kind of misleading her audience. She did a Peloton commercial. That bitch doesn't go on Peloton. She probably got rid of the one that they gave her.
So to your health. So I think you conflate that, and sure, being body positive is important, like loving yourself, loving the way you look. But if that's going to influence other people to make bad decisions about their body and their health, that's problematic.
Body positivity is disempowering people. It's making them think that they're healthy at any size, which they're not. And so as soon as you start telling people, hey, just love your body, like Lizzo will literally rub her belly and said, you're giving me all this power as she's eating a burger and she's promoting being obese. By doing this, you're just ruining it for people who actually should think, wait a minute, I can lose weight. I can go to the gym. I can eat less. I can do this.
Personally, my problem with body positivity isn't necessarily what it stands for. And I feel like there's a misconception because there are those people that they use it to justify fatness and just, I don't even want to say fatness. I want to make it very clear, unhealthiness. Because there's someone.
Okay, but then how are you almost 400 pounds and saying this because you need to take better care of your body and be a bit healthy? And I can say this having both sides of the perspective and being done and like finishing the equation, right? I'm not saying this like Myron.
Who I wouldn't say I'm necessarily part of the body positive community anymore. Personally, I would say I champion body diversity because it's all encompassing. It's inclusive of what everybody, is doing within their journey. When I expressed the desire to lose weight, another plus size individual that I used to be friends with was just like, well, I don't feel like I can share your content because I'm not sure how my followers are going to perceive this. I think.
Well, then you don't need someone like that in your life. Genuinely. It's really important to have an uplifting support system. If you don't have that, it's a completely different story. But if you have friends, if you have family that are going to judge you for bringing like a food scale, that are going to judge you for tracking your macros, that are going to judge you for saying you're on a diet, that are going to judge you for going to the gym, here's a harsh reality check a lot of people need to realize is get rid of them. Like it could... it could be your mom, it could be your dad. I'm not saying you need to like never talk to them again. I'm just gonna say like, hey, enter person here. Like I can respect and appreciate where you're coming from, but I don't agree with it, and I don't think I need to have your negative energy in my life, right?
Do you think just being in a fat body and being in the public space encourages obesity, just flat out?
Yes.
Yes.
So just us existing, we're saying,
yes,
yay, everyone go gain weight?
It absolutely
to a certain extent, yeah.
To think, well, think of it. You're 6'6", good looking, you're modeling. But it's going to encourage other people to, well, hey, look at him. He's got
so then what about when I go to the gym? When I step into the gym, or when Zach steps into the gym, or when any of us step into the gym, are we promoting being bigger like that too? Are we going there, and is our presence there unwanted?
By being famous, rich, popular, and being obese, you're indirectly promoting it in the same way that people who take steroids and are 350 pounds of muscle winning Mr. Olympia are indirectly promoting it, even if they don't say they're taking it.
But I'm speaking more specifically in the gym, in that space where people should be coming together to work on their bodies and stuff like that. If you saw us in the gym,
I would be happy and proud and excited, and my whole channel is about helping people who are overweight to lose weight and have realistic expectations. I would never say you have to look like this, you need abs. It's just, let's go halfway there. That's my entire channel, of which I have over 2 million followers. It's all about realistic goals of helping people who are overweight to lose weight. That is what my channel is all about.
But we're in public, and you made the statement that if we step out in public, that it would encourage people to live an unhealthy lifestyle.
The more friends you have who are overweight, the more likely you're going to be overweight. It just happens to happen. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. If 90% of the world were overweight, more people would be encouraged to be overweight.
Correct.
As just on this side, I don't think any of us have ever looked at a person heavier than ourselves and gone, I want to be that. That's a great thing to be. No, we have the same internalized biases as everybody else does. He was bringing up the gym before, and you said by existing just in a fat body, we are promoting it. Yes. I model, and when I do model fitness wear, which I do often, I get so many comments about like, oh, you are promoting obesity. I'm wearing fitness wear. I'm in the gym. I'm doing the thing you want me to do. And I'm still promoting obesity?
If you're exercising and you're trying to lose weight, then you're promoting people who are overweight to try to lose weight. That's great. But if you're Lizzo and rubbing your belly...
I mean, I don't know shit about Lizzo.
Specifically about influencers that promote gluttonous, lethargic lifestyles, which a bunch of them do. That's what we're talking about. If you're in the gym and you're fat and you're getting after and you're documenting that, that's fantastic.
The point was body positivity, and you're talking about influencers who promote gluttonous lifestyles. Yes. And that, again, is not body positivity.
So that's why the general masses don't have that distinction, though.
I do think we have a good read, though, on how each individual sees the body positivity movement. All right, the next prompt is, I have abused my body. Will the agreeers step forward?
Well, I mean, I feel like anybody that was overweight should move forward. I know that I would have moved forward when I was younger. I was on like a liver transplant waiting list and like had to have biopsy and all this and that. I mean, fast forward now, definitely not. If anything, I'm like, I take really, really good care of my body because I understand like you have to invest into your health and really give a shit. But let's see. Yeah, so they're all moving forward except for Tyler because he was probably never fat.
And I've abused my body many times. Being a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder, I've abused steroids, did that for over 10 years. I don't think you can get to the level that you have to get to be a professional bodybuilder while being natural. And so absolutely. And I would say that somebody trying to abuse steroids to get that muscle, to get that look is just as unhealthy as somebody who's obese. So I don't try to be a hypocrite. I say I've done these poor choices. I'm 48 now. I don't do steroids anymore. And so I recognize that what I did in the past was bad, probably took years off my life. And so I would say to people who are overweight, why don't you do the same thing? And if you're not, then do you really care about your health? Because if you do, you would stop doing the things that are leading to being morbidly obese.
But then to your own argument, you spent 10 years doing something you knew was inherently unhealthy.
Correct.
But then you're going to turn around and tell people that they should just wake up. But
yes, exactly. Like people should have told me, Greg, why do you keep doing this to yourself? You do not recognize what's going to happen. And if you call it shaming, why are you abusing steroids, Greg? Think of it. Think of the years you're taking off your life. Maybe I would have waited.
But the power was in your own awakening, right? The power right there was in your own awakening to realize within yourself that you were doing something negative, and then you made the change for it, right? And that change is now consistent. That change is now something that you can give a testimony about and help other people change their ways or persuade people.
Was the moment, you know, with
this to look something else, so I can do something else. Years from now, is he going to want to still be this? Things like tough.
I think this is the first like actual middle ground I think we're finding, which is really great because it's true. I mean, I've been harmful to myself on both sides of the spectrum. There are times I was taking, 20 to 30 diet pills and laxatives a day, eating less than 400 calories a day, working out nonstop. And then there's the other times where I was eating way too much, smoking way too much, drinking way too much, and abusing my body in the other way. I think we all come to the realization of what we're doing is harmful in different ways at different times. Like it took you 10 years to come to realize that was harmful. My thing is sometimes it takes people who might be overweight or, at that high tier, that 500-600 pounds, to realize that it's harmful for them. And maybe in their life, they don't feel like it's harmful. And they are happy. There are people, believe it or not, legitimately happy in certain
ignorance
sizes and shapes.
Is bliss. Like, I was happy at the moment. I
why
felt like it was. This is what guys do. Don't do it. They all suck up to each other. You're all tens. Guys are like, look at your gut. Look at your belly.
Stop saying what girls do.
I know. But no, it's important to.
I'm telling you what they do.
It's masculine from the feminine because it's guys talking here, and I think it's important to distinguish when something is feminine to say, well, we don't adhere to that over here.
Yeah, but there's been no shortage of generalizations on women in this episode so far, and I'm really, really curious about your answer to this prompt regarding like self-abuse, like bodily abuse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lifetime natural. I've never taken a drug before in my life. However, I was an athlete in college, and obviously when you're a Division I athlete, you're trained 2 to 3 times a day. It was very, very intensive. I would train through injuries, which wasn't intelligent, but at the end of it.
So one question I have for you then is, knowing what you did, obviously has allowed you to create this platform.
Fitness culture can be toxic.
I definitely think so, for sure.
100%. I think you can perpetuate so many themes that are so unhealthy. Like there's so many images online of people that post in like the best lighting with a pump. That is the societal.
Yeah, that sets unrealistic expectations. But this can be said for pretty much any industry or pretty much most things. I'm not off the top of my head. I can't think of many things that you can't say can be somewhat toxic. But as a whole, the fitness industry, or especially considering social media, makes it pretty toxic. And it's a lot of because of people with the body positivity or like the comparison games, right? And he's saying 100%, like for me, even personally, like I'll admit it, like if I'm going to post a picture of me in the gym, it's not going to be when I just showed up. It'll be like in the best lighting with a pump, right? So it gives off a lot of unrealistic expectations because it's not how a lot of people look like 24/7. It's the same thing when someone doesn't wake up. Somebody might have abs, right? But they don't necessarily wake up or go to sleep with abs. They look like shit because of bloat, or they need a poo, right? But nobody's gonna post that.
Norm of like what's good, and it even like affects me because I'll see people and I'm like, oh, I look like garbage compared to that. I think that right now it's like there's a lot of misinformation online when it comes to like how to get fit, how to stay in shape, and a lot of people are monetizing it. These like crazy fad diets, like you can't eat certain things, carbs are bad, fruit has sugar in it, so it's gonna make you fat. So like now food is almost being weaponized.
Well, people just say whatever they can, like Myron's doing in this video, to get attention and clicks, and then try to monetize that attention. And the easiest way to do that is to just say the opposite of what actually works, or what the opposite of what everybody's saying, right? So, and then like create your own little niche, right? So you have like the Liver King, right? You have the King Keto. So they're just going to go off that and just stick to that as their brand and their thing. And this is a specific, very, very niche thing that you have to do. And it's bullshit. It's not going to be sustainable whatsoever. But that's what's going to grow their audience because it goes against what like 99% of other people are saying. And then there's these few outliers.
and then to be monetized so that you buy their ebook to tell you the exact secret, code in order to lose weight. So fitness is an industry, right? So people are incentivized to say whatever that is to make money. And so it's been harder for me as a coach that takes a more holistic approach to wellness and fitness and saying, hey, it's all about balance. And like Greg's the same way. I know I felt like, I watch a lot of his videos. That is the correct approach to like making a plan that's not super restrictive. So I think that's why, the fitness industry, even being part of it, like is frustrating because there's so much misinformation.
I couldn't agree more.
I would say also that there's so much pressure to look like us, and it's causing people to develop body dysmorphia. And so this is a huge problem. So when you swipe on Instagram, you're being shown the top 1% of the top 1%. They all have a six-pack abdominals. Everyone feels inferior. There's pressure. Then that causes a whole host of...
Let me just say this. If anybody's actually watching this video this far in, and you want abs, or this is like the thing that you have in your mind, if you go back to the beginning of this video, I lost 150 pounds, and I had skin removal surgery, and I dieted for like 4 months, and I still didn't get abs. Not everybody's genetically blessed with that ability, right? Every body is different. But when you're on Instagram and people are posting them in the best lighting and the best with a pump, lean as possible diuretics, possible steroids, and you don't know any of this, and then you're comparing yourself to that, it's unrealistic. And then that's what develops a lot of body dysmorphia or a toxic culture.
You know what I mean? So that's just my
Well,
take
it's
on
because
it.
the fitness industry overcomplicates it so that they can monetize it. So if
So
they
why-
tell
is
you,
that their
I got
fault?
the secret sauce. Well, this is why it's important to acquire knowledge and be able to, whether you go ahead and do your own research. And
Yeah, but it's so easy for you to say. Like, you can acquire so much knowledge, but then what is good and what is bad? I was guilty of this myself 10 years ago. YouTube was still a very large thing. It's much bigger now, right? But Instagram wasn't as popular, and God fucking fuck TikTok. That is just torture. But I was guilty of buying all these Jack Guys ebooks and spending money on supplements and this and that because Facebook like knew I was fat, and I would buy like the ab thing and stick it on my stomach and it would vibrate, and I thought that was going to get me to lose weight, right? It's so easy. It's just, he's saying such broad generic shit that everybody thinks that they can stick to this. It's not that simple.
Again, it comes back to doing the work, and people get so mad, like, oh, what is this hard? Do your research, look at the studies. There's so much fitness studies.
Bro, I don't read fucking studies barely any of the time, and I'm a coach. So you can say all this shit, but like, let's be real. If someone's 400 pounds, you're not going to sit down and read some fucking Harvard study because the mitochondria of your fucking rectus femoris is going to get shoved up your ass. Like, nobody's going to follow that. Nobody's going to read that shit.
Out there's no secrets. It's just discipline and sustainability.
Have you guys,
over a period
have
of
you guys
time.
ever been confused about how to get and stay in shape based on the information that's out there?
Totally. I would never, ever take advice from you to get that advice or to gain that knowledge because of whatever this disposition it is that you have going on, right?
What's the disposition?
I mean,
Can you describe it?
I think I just can't.
Like, I tend to be harsh on overweight people or on Lizzo, but that is because I have the perspective that this jackass doesn't. He's just stuck up, and he's just saying this stuff to get viral content.
I wouldn't even enable it toxic, but I think it's like you have this perspective about the world around you that I think is kind of really warped, and I don't understand why, and I would like to understand why, and I'm not getting it because you're like, shame is the answer and stuff like that, but
It's worked for
not.
centuries.
No, it hasn't. Oh, well, maybe it has, but not in today's society, because a lot of people have gotten softer, and that's good for the good and for the bad. You can make that argument. But telling someone, hey, you're a fat fuck, you need to lose weight, is not really going to help. Making someone aware of the problem and the benefits of changing might definitely help them. Giving them the solution to the problem will definitely help them, right? Encouraging them to take action will help them. But just telling them straight up, hey, you're a fat fuck, you need to change, is not going to help them. I literally know this because for a decade people would call me fat. And the only thing I would do was take action by face, not take action by not stuffing my face with cheeseburgers. In fact, it made me more emotional. I became more of an emotional eater because people would call me fat, I would punch them in the face, I would go home and cry and eat my fucking feelings. This guy's a moron.
It's why you have so much conflict. It's why we're literally sitting here today having this discussion.
So here's the thing. You operate on what's ideal. I operate on what's real. And the reality is
what's
that the world
real,
is a much
though?
colder and harder place than you think it is, but you want to, people to just understand you and see your perspective and see you as how you see yourself. The reality is the world's never going to see you how you see yourself. They're going to see you on how you display yourself to them. And when you are fat, out of shape, etc., the people, and if they don't get to know you and talk to you and have a conversation with you, they're going to assume certain things. That's just the world that we live in.
Okay, I don't disagree with him with that. I will say that. I agree with that.
What about people in abusive relationships or with abusive parents who are now in no contact situations or anything like that? Not me. I love my folks. They're great.
Yeah.
But like, just for the TV record, in case they watch it. Like, but I know a lot of people who
There's
are
always
on
a
like
line.
no
There's
contact.
always a line. But
So that's all I'm saying is in the in the fitness world, I would rather be with someone who's trying to uplift me, trying to get me to improve, hold me accountable. Tough love, absolutely, I think is important.
Yeah.
There's a total difference between tough love and shame.
Absolutely.
Shame is a component of tough love.
No,
Shame is only done with the intent to hurt somebody.
I would not like to be on the other side. If that's true for you, come forward.
I mean, personally, me, it would be, obviously, I would not want to go back to the other side. I mean, I'm now negative 150, 170 pounds for close to 8 years, almost a decade now, right? I didn't like being fat. I didn't like being overweight, obese. It was very unhealthy. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked in the mirror. I couldn't buy clothes. I had to get clothes from America, 5XL shirt imported. I had to get surgery for dead skin, right? I wouldn't want to go back. It's not the end of the world if I gain 20 pounds, but personally, when I do that, I feel like shit, right? Now, is that unhealthy? Some might argue it is, but like, I'm like happy with the way I look, and I hate letting myself go, or when I get super puffy, pun intended, like I don't like that, right?
I'm very medium on this.
I mean, that's just insane.
I was in high school, they do your graduation photos, and they had a saying, and my saying was, my worst nightmare would be if I gained 10 pounds of fat.
That's funny.
Literally, grade 12. I remember it clear as day. I was already a competitive bodybuilder. And so to imagine being 100 or 200 pounds overweight when I strived my whole life to look kind of like this, I just couldn't imagine it. It would be a nightmare for me.
I agree. From like a health perspective, like being overweight or obese like, puts you at a higher risk of developing chronic illnesses. And I think I wouldn't want to be in that position. And if I was in that position, I would do what I can in order to get to a healthier weight.
Okay, so I just want to make sure everyone gets to say their piece before I go. I mean, yeah, it's completely unacceptable to be fat as a man. It's completely unacceptable. It's just so many problems with it. I've been fat, I've been skinny, and I've been in shape, and I will pick being in shape every single time. Just like if you have someone that's rich versus someone that's poor, they will pick being rich every single time. And the thing is that most fat people, not all, but most, have never even seen their abs. They've never seen what their body is capable of. They've never been actually happy with their physique. And once you get that taste, you're never going to want to go back. And then
I mean, to a certain extent, yes, but there are certain instances where people lose significant amounts of weight unsustainably, crash diet, diuretics, keto, whatever, and then they bounce all the way back. He's just generically spewing shit like he's done this entire episode, and it's very frustrating because it's not accurate.
So I wouldn't necessarily want to go from one extreme to another. I also would not want to be spewing out stuff just to hopefully get a viral clip.
So if you could snap your fingers and look like any of us, would you not do it? Like, would it not be worth it?
I probably choose to look like Tyler. I want to go to a place.
Okay, there we go. So he did, in a way, not really answer the question. It's just a matter of him not necessarily wanting to take action and put the work in that's required. Because if you ask Lizzo to snap your fingers and lose 100 pounds, she would do it.
It's comfortable and it's healthy all around. I'm not doing things that could negatively impact me in a way to get to a place like that. Like, I've gone through that. I've gone through having eating disorders, from chewing gum and drinking water and starving myself in different ways to achieve something. Like, when I was dancing, my dance teacher blatantly told me, if you don't lose a certain amount of weight, I'm kicking you out of the showcase. So what did I do? I resorted to everything that I could possibly do to cut pounds like crazy. And it wasn't sustainable. It really screwed with me mentally, but I was doing it. And of course, like, in the moment, it sort of felt good, but then I fainted in class one time. And that really, really sucked.
So I feel like you would switch sides if it meant doing it naturally. Like, he's obviously natural, he's natural.
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously not.
I would switch sides if it meant that I could do it in a healthy way.
No shit. But bro, like, you could fucking do it in a healthy way. This is the thing, man. Like, he has so many excuses and putting up so many walls, and I understand, like, he's had bad, what's the word? He's had situations where he had an eating disorder and starved himself and fainted, but because that's not sustainable and that's not the logical approach, and unfortunately, like, he hasn't had the proper help to guide him in the right direction.
Like I expressed that I'm working on that, and I'm not saying that what you did was wrong. I really applaud the fact that you're saying to people like, hey, this was what my journey was, this is what it took, but I really don't advise that.
Okay, so here's the thing, man. Like, excellence and comfort cannot coexist. If you want to be an anomaly, and you want to be the trendsetter, you want to be the top guy, you got to be able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. As far as, like, weight loss, because you said I'm just saying things to get a viral clip. How would you deal with the obesity problem?
Like I said, pouring life into people. How am I dealing with it? I'm sharing what it's taking me.
Explain what pouring life is. Like, what would that actually look like?
As someone who creates content online, I share what it is that I do in the gym. I share my routine. I talk about like, hey, today was a shit day, but guess what? I pushed past that and I just benched 405. That's more than I weigh. When I want to hang out with friends, if I know that my schedule does not allot me that time, but I know that I have this time during the gym, I'll tell my friends like, hey, pull up with me.
So you're inspiring others?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what if I told you at the camp everyone's exercising together and they're inspiring each other?
But
Same thing.
You approached it at such a negative way.
Yeah.
Like you approached it from a place of shame, and like most of us have blatantly told you that shame didn't really work. Shame is what led me to an eating disorder. Shame is what led me to unsustainable weight loss. When what we're looking for is stability.
Whose fault is that you decided to go an unsustainable route with dieting? Whose fault?
So if I was given a timeline that I needed to meet, and I'm trying to figure out without also having the tools to do so the proper way, and I'm just
no, but bro, that's and I understand both sides, but like with him specifically not having the tools to do it the proper way, that's his own negligence. That's him not doing enough research. That's him not finding the proper help, right? Let's be real. I hired a coach 10 years ago. God bless him. I love the man. He helped me lose 150 pounds, right? The number one way to get proper results, or to educate yourself, or to get quick results fast, or X, Y, or Z, or get to point A to point Z really quickly, is investing into yourself, is to paying for education, paying for knowledge of firsthand experience that someone else has. Right? If you ask a lot of businessmen or business people, right, or entrepreneurs, how they went from 100K a month or 100K a year to $1 million a year, $1 million a month, it's because they invested into themselves with mentorships or coaching, because that person had firsthand experience and told them how to get from point A to point B. And it's the exact same thing with the weight loss. This guy screwed himself over, and I still commend him for trying, and he lost, I think, 100 pounds, but then he didn't set it up for success long term.
I'm just saying, like, I probably wouldn't go extreme like on your side of the spectrum, so that kind of stuff. But I would like to look like Tyler.
Yeah, because that's a normal, healthy body.
Like Tyler is the ideal for me of what I want to look like. But I mean, I wouldn't be that short too. But
I'm just gonna say it, the elephant in the room. Every fat person would want to be in shape. The problem is that they're not willing to do what's required to get in shape. Hence, why they are fat.
It's just,
I mean, that's very blunt for the way he's saying it, but I fundamentally do agree with him, as, again, being someone on the other end of the spectrum.
It's abundantly clear what you think. Like, we've
It's a lie.
Kudos to you.
It's a lie.
The next prompt is, your physique is in your control. Can the agreeers please step forward?
So long story short, in 2018, I got to my heaviest weight, which was 441 pounds, and I was depressed as, like, I'm not gonna cuss, but
you can say it.
I was depressed as fuck, man. Like, it was really hard. My weight had built like a cage around my mind. So even things that I knew were good for me, I couldn't even like go for it because my mentality was just so messed up. And it got to the point to where I had someone tell me, like, dude, you're gonna die.
Yep.
And that hurt, you know? And I just flipped things around. And I think one thing we haven't mentioned is accountability. I think that's the biggest thing. When I was growing up, my weight was always blamed on someone else. I was like, oh, it's my parents feeding me too much. And it's like, you can close your mouth. Like, I don't have to eat, you know? But when I finally made that change in my head, I realized that where you're at, given like the ideal circumstances, it is your choice. I am where I'm at now because I made a series of wrong choices and didn't handle myself correctly.
I mean, you deserve to be depressed if you're fat.
Oh my God.
The reality is that, see, depression is a very healthy response to inadequacy.
Jesus Christ. This guy is such a piece of shit.
And produce. We're not women where we can just coast on our looks and make it through life. As a man, you must produce
I gotta cut you off, bro, because no one deserves to be, like, people die from that shit.
Yeah, nobody deserves to be depressed. I was on antidepressants. Nobody deserves to be depressed. What I will say, though, is I feel, and again, this is my perspective and opinion from losing 150 pounds, anybody that is depressed, mainly due to the fact of their own inadequacies and because they're overweight, if they went to the gym, or a lot of depression would simply just be cured if they went to the gym and strength trained. Now, it has a compounding effect. You have something to look for. I know this firsthand. I was off antidepressants within 6 months of starting to working out because I had something to look forward to. I had progression. I had something to wake up and be like, oh, I can't wait to get X result and improve. But that piece of shit to say you deserve to be depressed is just mind blowing.
No one deserves to be depressed.
Let me finish. The reason why you feel depressed and it's a healthy response to you being fat is because it's your body telling you, like, wow, what are you doing? You need to fix this. You're sad because you're not going out there.
Not every person is depressed because they're overweight. Some people are depressed just because of their chemical imbalance in their fucking brain.
Accomplishing what you're supposed to do. It's your masculine duty to make money.
Yeah. This guy literally,
to lose weight.
He's paid for the Andrew Tate course.
So that you can protect and provide for the people that you love. And when you're not able to do that, you get depressed and you get sad, rightfully so, because you're a fuck up.
Have you experienced depression?
Well, I've always been. I've had times where I've been sad and stuff, but I always get over it.
So you shouldn't speak on.
Yeah, he shouldn't speak. He shouldn't speak on anything.
Sensitive people who actually have mental health disabilities.
Depression most of the time is not real.
Oh my God! What a fucking moron.
Okay.
The earth is flat.
A lot of the times when people are depressed, it's because of their own inadequacies. You're messing up in something in your life.
Is that an inadequacy?
He doesn't mean in all cases.
No, he's saying like in the majority.
When you say a blanket statement,
there's
like
always
that,
going to be
right?
exceptions, but I'm speaking generally in this context of being fat and why you were depressed. It's because
that wasn't the only reason why I was depressed. But go on.
Okay, but it's a component. You know what I mean?
It was a big component.
It was a response to your inadequacy as a man. And the thing is that
God.
we live in a meritocracy. I know everyone.
I gotta give these guys props for not punching him in the face.
Everyone likes to run around and say, "Oh, everyone's equal and it's all equality for everyone." No, that's not how the world works. Why the fuck should I be treated equally to someone who's fat, broke, not disciplined, and
it has
not
nothing to do with anything of what they're talking
about? It's a competition.
Oh,
Life is a competition.
Where are you getting the notions that people are not disciplined? Where is that coming from?
Okay, fundamentally, if you're obese at your size, I respect Tevin for going to the gym and working out. But a lot of it has to come down to a lot of inconsistency.
Depressed guys, etc. Look at their life 9 out of 10 times. They're not going to the gym. They're not making the money that they're supposed to be making. They're not where they need to be. Show me a guy that's making
not
money,
necessarily
successful,
wrong.
has a good set of friends around him, has a network, etc., that is depressed. You would rarely find that. Are there exceptions to the rule? Of course. There's always exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rule. But in general,
understand that it's not black and white.
It's not.
When you get depressed, a lot of the times it's because you're a fuck up and it's your body's natural response.
Okay, that's
to being
just ridiculous.
Has anyone here ever felt like they didn't have control over their body or their physique?
There's times where I felt like I didn't have the control I wanted, but there was never a point where I'm like, this isn't within my ability to do.
Yeah, I think we all go through stages, especially mental health.
You wish it was easier sometimes,
Yep.
but other than that, it's like, no, of course I'm in control of it. I know I am.
So, I've started a fitness journey. I've been smaller, I've been bigger. I used to be a dancer. This, really was what fueled me, hit a depression. I turned to food as, something to comfort me. And I realized that I was spiraling.
As did I. So my parents were splitting up, and I was not happy with the way I was, and I got kicked out of school, and then I just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right? Started working out again, kind of fell off of it, but this year I told myself it was my year of renaissance, right? That I was going to actively make the changes in all aspects of my life, including my health, including what my body looks like and what my body is capable of. And so I've been doing that. Now, did that mean that I was any less of a hard worker? No. I fucking worked 3 jobs. 2 of them that I love, and 1 of them as a survival job to make sure that I'm able to continue doing what I love. So I go to the gym every single day after work. It doesn't matter what time I get off of work. It doesn't matter what things that I have going on after work, I go. But again, going back to assumptions, you looked at me and you made assumptions about laziness, about not caring about my health and things like that, when that's the complete opposite. I reached out, I got myself a trainer because I was like, I can't do this alone. And I told them straight up, these are the things that I want you to work on with me. I want to work on building mass, losing weight, but most importantly, consistency. And I feel like all of you guys can agree that that's what it is, right? Am I where I ideally want to be yet? No. But I also learned that I needed to love myself as I am right now and build those tools.
I feel like he's come somewhat half circle. He's not naive enough to now realize where he's at or was at the beginning. That's healthy and should continue that way. Because he's now realizing or he's at least admitting that he wants to lose weight without saying it verbatim. Okay, we're going to end this video here. If you like this type of format or reaction video, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. The link to book a call with me if you want to customize game plan chat will be below. Please join the weight loss community. It's 100% free. I'm just trying to build a community of like-minded individuals similar to like this Zach guy or what was his name? The Rich guy. Not Myron. If you're Myron, don't do that. I'm just going to argue with you and kick you out. So otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for watching and peace.